All right. So, Zuri, what has SFU Rugby meant to you?
It has meant many things to me. In the earlier days, what it's meant to me is that being a woman or girl at the time, really, who never felt very proud of her body and was always larger than average, being part of rugby alone gave me a better sense of myself. It helped me to appreciate my strength, physically and mentally. And then being part of SFU Rugby specifically has brought so many memories, stories, adventures. But I think the biggest thing is that it's given me a second family. SFU Rugby has brought so much support into my life, beyond being part of the club as an athlete.
Being part of SFU Rugby with my entire family is probably the biggest joy for me.
Mm-hmm.
I was part of the initial SFU Rugby Club from 66 to 68, and then there were a lot of years in between, and I must say, overjoyed when my sons decided to attend SFU and play rugby for them, and they've been doing it since they were first year, and now they're almost 34.
I joined the club in 1981, 18 years old. Didn't know what I was doing in university. Came out and played. Immediately I was felt welcome with the club. Now they're the old boys that are there, no longer there, but at that time they were a couple of years older than me. And immediately felt welcome, and I knew I'd found a home with SFU Rugby.
SFU Rugby is pretty much like a second family to me. I've played with the club since I was 17, so summer before going into grade 12 I played for a Vancouver team, and Steve Bennett was our coach, and he asked us to come play for SFU. So in the fall, myself and Megan Bamford, who's also been a long time member of the club, came to play for SFU. So it's been almost 10 years playing with SFU, and so some of my closest friends are on the club, just training with them 2 times a week and games every weekend. You really become more than just a team, you're friends and family.
SFU Rugby is a family to me. I think probably the only reason I ever got started with rugby is because my 2 older brothers went to SFU and they started playing rugby at SFU, and then I just sort of followed in their footsteps, and that's like 25 years ago.
SFU Rugby has been a huge part of my life, and it's a huge part of my network of friends, work connections, travels around the world. It's a huge part of my life. I've loved every bit of it.
What was your favorite moment, like when you were playing?
I think the biggest memory I have, and it came back to me a week and a half or so ago, when the boys were playing at Brockton Oval. In the spring of '67, SFU took on the University of Washington Huskies.
Mm-hmm.
And even though they were Americans, didn't play rugby well, they waxed us. I think the score was 16-0. Because they were all Huskies football players on the off season, and they were monsters.
I think one of my favorites is probably winning the Women's Premiership. That was a phenomenal moment that I hope I never forget. Unfortunately, I've already forgotten the date or when it actually happened. I know it happened. I remember it happening and what it felt like. But yeah, that is a very special moment for me, and it will always stay there.
All the sevens tournaments we've done up here at SFU, especially in the early years, driving up onto the campus when it's still totally quiet, and then by the end of the day, a full beer garden, hours and hours of rugby, tons of friends, and great times. That's the sort of stuff that really stands out amongst dozens of great memories. And I have to give a huge shout out to every time we went to Williams Lake as well. Nothing like going up to Billy's Puddle for some good fun.
The moments that I really cherish we all had these, when you were a high school, and you're coming out of high school, and your high school friends were the best ever. You couldn't live without them. Well, I felt the same thing. But quickly when I joined SFU Rugby, I started to forget about my high school friends. And they were, they were important, I guess, but I started hanging around rugby guys. And before, not too long, the rugby guys are now my best friends, and unfortunately, some of them will always be my best friends. So there you go.
So one of my big memories, I think, was the first year that I played for SFU. I was playing up on the Premier Division team, which I don't think I had any business being a part of, but they needed a scrum half, and there it was. But we placed 4th in the Premier Division in the spring that year, and that last game, I remember one run that I had, that I picked the ball up from the scrum and I went blind with it, and it felt like 100 meters, probably only like 10, but had this big run and everyone was talking about it after the game and patting me on the back and saying what a great job I'd done, and it was after that game that I really felt like a part of that team, and so that was amazing.
I mean, over the course of that time, there's a lot of memories. I think probably the one that pops to mind first would be going on tour in China. It was just a crazy experience. It was me and a handful of old boys with 18, 20-year-olds going to a communist country, and just the fact that no one died and we all got home safe and had a good time was a pretty amazing experience.
Okay. What was it like coming back to later coach the younger women?
I loved it. I really did, and it felt like a mother hen, actually. I felt a great sense of pride in the girls and the women that I was coaching, and also very honored to be part of helping them develop as athletes with a club that I'm so fond of and is very dear to my heart.
Being coached by Darcy Mackay and Zuri Scrivens was amazing. The both of them were just so positive and supportive of the team, and really took us we went from the bottom of the league. I mean, we were losing every single game, and they took us to the first division final within 2 years, and making that final was amazing. I mean, like, the team was so cohesive, we worked so hard together, and we fell short in the final, but that experience was amazing. It's probably my favorite one.
You've organized the last few tours, so how has that been for you, getting like that organized for people?
It's like herding cats. Yeah, it's not easy, but everybody wants to go on tour, and then trying to get them to do things to go on tour is very painful, up until the point of actually flying away or driving away somewhere, and then afterwards it's all golden, and all the memories from all the tours that we've been on, people look back and said they've had a blast, and that's the kind of intrinsic value that I draw from it.
Every tour was great. I can't imagine not going on tour. I've been on every one since 81 or 82. And they've all had their special times and fun times and crazy shit. I can't pick one out and just say, oh, that was fantastic. That was the best tour. Every tour was fun.
Lumpy has been around for forever,
yeah,
essentially. So do you have any is there any lumpy moments that kind of stand out in your memory?
I'm not sure if I'm allowed to say this on camera, but I remember one time we were up in Kelowna, and we were playing against Kelowna, and we decided to stay overnight. We had a few rookies with us that weren't accustomed to some of the antics that the guys get up to, particularly when they're showering or they're changing afterwards or getting ready. And maybe I should stop there. I think Lumpy probably knows what I'm talking about right now. But let's just say it involved him, David Patterson, and a guy that never plays for our team anymore. He's gone.
A few years ago, when Lumpy was single, he showed up at the boys' birthday party. Got really, really drunk, as he often does, and I guess he got a little hungry. He went into our fridge and took a big bite out of a block of cheese.
I think there's really two occasions that stand out to me for Daryl. One is he's a character, and characters get caught up in the excitement of the moment. And I remember a tour to Portland. At least I think we were in Portland. We were at one of the Oregon universities. Daryl cracked a rib, or cracked all his ribs, I don't know. Managed to get a hold of some really good medicine to help him take care of the pain. And I think we chased him around campus for about 45 minutes. Nobody had ever seen him run that fast. He was giddy, laughing, feeling no pain, running at top speed, and we couldn't catch him for probably an hour. That's the Daryl, that's the character.
You know, I have one that at the time was definitely not one of my favorite Lumpy moments. Things are always a little more funny when you look back on them. So I will tell it. It basically involved one of our year-end I think it was either a year-end or a Christmas banquet, and we had it at Shell Basement, and it was during cleanup, and everyone had a great time, but there was definitely a lot of drinking going on as usual. Why wouldn't there be? And for whatever reason, Lumpy and Steph, and I think Pam as well, got into a very big argument while we were cleaning up, and Daryl was so mad that he took the door to Shell Basement and slammed it so hard, just for emphasis, but he slammed it so hard that all of the glass shattered in the door. And I think that was the last time that we had an event in Shell Basement. I don't think we were ever allowed back in there. So even though I was furious at the time and it was horrible, that was definitely, it's a favorite moment. It's one I remember. But on a more positive note, for me, my favorite Lumpy moments are the times that he has surprised me. Crazy and difficult as he can be, the times that Daryl has put his heart on his sleeve and let us see just how genuine, kind, compassionate, and big-hearted a man he is. And there have been a lot of those moments, and those are my favorites.
Then there's the Daryl that's a people person, and I know he and his family open up their house. I think it's at Christmas, and if you don't have somewhere to go for Christmas dinner, you can go to his house, and that's an open invitation, and it's always been there since the day I met Daryl. I remember him sending that message out to the entire rugby club, and that says a huge amount about who Daryl is. He's a caring, giving person. He can be a dumbass sometimes. He can be stubborn. But I think we've all got a lot of time for Daryl, because he's all got a lot of time for us, and a ton of time for the rugby club. I don't know that there's anybody who's put more into this rugby club over the last 30 years that I've been involved in Daryl. In fact, I know nobody else has put as much in over that time. He's still a jackass, though. That's Daryl.
Fair enough. So, is there any message you would like to pass on to members of the club, whether it be past, present, or future?
I definitely just want to thank everyone, especially from the beginning, those who supported me and encouraged me to do more with rugby and push myself to make it to the next level. And just over the years, the support from the club has been amazing.
I think I have a lot to be thankful for from SFU Rugby. Right down to being thankful for putting up with me. Because a lot of the ladies I played with, I made their lives very difficult in a lot of ways. The name Fun Police doesn't come from nowhere. So I thank you to my teammates for many amazing years of playing and just having a great time. I am so thankful for them. And thank you to the club as a whole for surviving as a club, for through everything that we've done and been through to still being here and being at this point. I think it's a wonderful and amazing thing, and it's, not everyone gets to be part of the background work and see what happens and everything, that all the drama and the craziness that goes on. So I just hope that every member of the club, past, present, future, at some point gains an appreciation for that. As frustrating as it can be, this is a great club. It's a great thing to be a part of, and not everyone gets this opportunity, even if all you are is just a player who comes out on your 2 practices and games on the weekends.
For the guys and girls from my era, the late 80s and early 90s and into the late 90s, I'd like to think we continued the tradition. We kept up semi-decent relationships with the university. We toured. We made sure that people knew that if you were playing SFU Rugby, you'd get a hard game, but you'd also get the social stuff afterwards. I'm super happy the tradition of the Sevens has kept going on this field, and I think that will continue. I love the fact that we tour into China, overseas, down to Texas, and those friendships that we make around the world. That's a huge part of rugby. Rugby is so much about what happens off the field. You beat your brains out on the field, and then you've got to have friendships for the rest of your life, and that's really what appeals about rugby.
Being part of rugby itself is amazing. Like, you go travel all over the world, meet rugby players, and they're all pretty much the same group. Playing with our club, for me, again, it's important because it's my family, and it's become an extended family for me. I would say to, go on tours, get involved with the club. The more you get involved, the more things you do with the club, and the more things you do with rugby, it completely enriches your life. And I would not trade any of the challenges that I've had as a president, as a player, as a tour master, whatever, for anything. It's been really, really fun.
For the future, just make sure that you're making everyone feel like part of the team, encouraging them, helping them to believe in themselves, and supporting them along their way. No matter how inexperienced or young they are, you need to make them feel like part of the team to bring out their potential.
What I would like to see is many more alumni out at the games to support the current players.
Okay.
It's wonderful to see people out. I know people have families, they have schedules, some have moved to other parts of the world or the country, but there's a lot of us that are still local, and it would be great to see more alumni out more regularly.
My best friends are with the rugby team, bar none. The guys in the past, the girls in the past, some players that unfortunately have passed away, and the current players, each one has made me laugh. They've done some stupid things. How can't you laugh at Craig Geddes or James Welsh or whatever that freak's name is? Corey Turner, Dick Waldering, all these people that have gone in, that are currently, some are currently still with us, and some are old boys and old girls. They're just hilarious, and they've made me laugh. So I thank them for that. That's one of the more rewarding times I've had with the club. And for the guys that are and the girls that are with the club, stay with the club. You will be totally rewarded, and it will be the best time of your lives, bar none. Even with old guys like me. Yep.
All right, and yeah, that's pretty much everything that I need.
Why, thank you.